Hello and welcome to the unit on computer networking. This is the part 17 of this particular unit, and today we are going to discuss about introduction to web services. So let's go through the syllabus. This is the syllabus, and out of the syllabus today we are going to discuss the parts that are highlighted in red. So let's try to understand the meaning of web services. So the services offered by an electronic device to another electronic device communicating with each other via the World Wide Web are called web services. So when different electronic devices are connected to each other, now how is the connection possible? How is the communication taking place between these electronic devices? All these are possible with the help of certain services known as web services. Web services make the internet possible. Web services runs the internet. Due to web services, communication can happen from one electronic device to another electronic device. Let's see some of the web services as per the syllabus. So first web service is www, then we'll discuss about HTML, then followed by XML. Domain names, we'll see what is URL, what is a website, what is web browser, what are web servers, and what are web hosting. So let's start with www. As we all know, www stands for World Wide Web. What is it? It is a set of protocols that allow us to access any document on the internet through a naming system based on URL. Now, www is a web service which contains a set of protocols. Means within www there are certain protocols which we will see after a few minutes, and those protocols allows us to access the documents on the internet. Now, how will you access a document on the internet? For accessing a document on the internet, you have to know about a thing known as URLs. So with the help of URLs, we can access any document on the internet. And who helps you in accessing these documents? World Wide Web will help you. World Wide Web, it allows the multimedia and hypertext files to be created, displayed, and linked on the internet. Because of World Wide Web only, you can display multimedia documents which contains images, audios, videos, and you can also exchange hypertext files, and you can create hypertext files, you can display hypertext files, and you can link different hypertext files on the internet. All these things are provided by www, popularly known as World Wide Web. Let's see what is the difference between internet and www. It's a common perception that both of them are same, but no, there's a subtle difference between internet and www. Let's see what the difference is. Now let's say we have a collection of computers. Now the infrastructure is provided by internet. Internet connects the computers, but www, what it does, it connects the people. www connects people. So it's like that if you purchase a very high configuration computer, but if you don't install the operating system, then the high configuration is useless. But if you have a very powerful software but the infrastructure is not good or the computer is not good, then also it will not be possible. So internet and www, both of these things makes the entire web run. So the infrastructure is provided by the internet, and www is used to connect the people on the internet. That's the difference between internet and www. Let's go to the second web service, which is HTML or hypertext markup language. Now when we use the internet, we use a software known as web browser. With the help of web browser, we explore the web. Now how are the documents made in the web browser? The documents which run in the web browser are made by a language known as HTML. So as you can see here, it is a language used to design web pages. With the help of HTML, what you can do, you can design the web pages. It is a standard markup language for documents designed to be displayed on a web browser. Now, what do we mean by a markup language? Markup languages are such kind of languages which consist of some text enclosed within tags. It is used to design the layout of a document and to verify and to specify hyperlink. With the help of HTML, you can specify the structure of a web document, and also you can give hyperlinks. Hyperlinks means if you access a website, whenever you access a website, the first page that you see, it's known as the home page. But you don't often stay on the home page only. From the home page, you go to different other pages also. Now how you go from one web page to another? You go from one web page to another with the help of hyperlinks, and HTML will give you the facility to specify hyperlinks also. It provides many layout commands called tags that lets us control the presentation of information on a web page. Now how the information will be presented on a web page? It will be provided by some commands. Those commands are known as tags. So this language is used to display hypertext pages via web browsers. You can make HTML documents in like very simple softwares like Notepad or TextEdit, but while viewing the web pages, you have to view it via web browsers. So let me show you just a simple web page. So this is a web page which I made via HTML. Now here I have given a hyperlink also. If I click here, it will go to a different page. Here again hyperlink is given. So if you click here, yeah, I can go to a different page. Now I'm viewing this web page, or I'm viewing this page via a web browser. The web browser here is Google Chrome now, but I have made it in Notepad. Now if I have to see the HTML coding, so this is the HTML coding. Now here, how the document will be structured, how it will be displayed, it's specified with the help of tags. The things or the objects which you are seeing, which is enclosed between the greater than and the less than symbol, these are known as tags. Because of the presence of tags, HTML is also known as a markup language. Let's go to the next markup language, which is XML. From the examination point of view, these full forms are also very important. It is often asked. XML, it stands for extensible markup language. So it is a markup language and file format for uses such as storing and transmitting data. Now if you have to transmit data from, let's say, a computer A to a computer B, then for storing and transmitting data in a particular format, you require a language which is known as XML. It's a powerful way to store data in a format that can be stored, searched and shared. Now if you store a document and transmit document via XML, then indexing will be possible and very much easier. Now if you store document and transmit document using XML, the documents can be searched and it can be shared easily, maintaining a common format. Okay, here I'll not discuss about the technicalities of XML. When you learn this language separately, then you can make out what XML use. One difference between XML and HTML is that in HTML we cannot make our own tags, but in XML we can make our own tags. Okay, let's go to the next web service, which is domain name. What is a domain name? It is a text form of an IP address and is more human friendly and easy to learn. So we all have heard about the search engine called Google. Now, but whenever we type in the browser, what we type www.google.com. But behind that, we have another numerical address of Google. That numerical address is known as IP address. But IP addresses are difficult to remember. Therefore, a text form of IP address is developed. And that text form of IP address is known as domain name. Okay. So, for example, the domain name of Google is www.google.com. If I type it in the web browser, Google will open up. While its IP address is 142.251.15.99. So, it is mostly used for branding the organization. It basically consists of the brand name of the organization. So, let's say I type www.google.com in the web browser. So this google.com, it's known as the domain name. But even if I type its IP address, which is 142.251.15.99, what will open up? Google.com will only be opened up. Let me show it to you practically. So let's say here I type www.google.com. see, so the web page of Google is opening up, but instead of that, if I type in its IP address, which is 142.251.15.99, so it's let's open a new tab and do it. 142.251.15.99. As I press the enter key, what you can see, the web page of Google itself is opening. So what is domain name? It is the text form of IP address. I hope it is clear. Let's go to the next topic, which is URL. URL stands for Uniform Resource Locator. What is it? It is a unique identifier used to locate a resource on the internet. In the internet, there are lots of resources. By resources, I mean that resources can be web pages, they can be some video, it can be an image, it can be a GIF file, it can be any Microsoft Word document, it can be an Excel document, etc. Now, for locating a particular document, you have a unique identifier or a unique address. That unique address is known as URL. It is also referred to as web address. It is the address of a given unique resource on the web. So for example, if I consider cbseacademic.nic.in. So cbseacademic.nic.in is the domain name. But if within cbseacademic.nic.in, if I access a particular resource, in this example curriculum 2023.html, this is known as the URL. URL is the complete name of a particular resource. Okay, so there is a difference between URL and domain name. It's very important from examination point of view. Let's see what's the difference between URL and domain name. So on one side we have URL, another side we have domain name. What is URL? URL, it provides the complete address of a resource on the internet. The complete address of a particular resource. Resource may be a web page, a photo, video, etc. But domain name, what it is? It is the text form of IP address, as I have already shown you practically also. URL represents the complete path that includes the domain name. So within URL, we have the domain name also, but it's the complete path of a particular resource. But domain name, what is it? It is a part of the URL. Within the URL, we have the domain name. An example of URL is, as I gave it in the previous slide also, cbseacademic.nic.in/curriculum_2023.html. It's the URL. But if I have to extract the domain name from here, the domain name will be cbseacademic.nic.in. Next, let's go to website. But before going to website, we need to know about a term known as web page. What is web page? Each individual page on the internet that is viewed via a web browser is called a web page. Now, whatever pages we are browsing via a web browser, each individual page is known as a web page. Now, what is a website? If we have a collection of related web page and I host it within a common domain, it is known as a website. So, in short form, we can say that a website is a collection of related web pages. Now, the web pages in a website will be related. And website is identified by a common domain name and is published on the web server. Now, if you make a website, you can make it without internet also. But if you want everyone to see the website that you made, then you have to publish it on a web server. What is a web server? We'll come to that topic in a few minutes from now. So, how can you identify a website? You can identify a website by a common domain name and it is published on the web server. So, this is a website. A website contains a collection of related pages. Those individual pages are known as web pages. So let's say here the website is cbseacademic.nic.in. Now within that, as you can see here, we have 3 web pages. But these 3 web pages are related. So we have clubbed it into a common domain, and that is known as the website. Let's see what is web browser. All of you already know it. But if I have to define it in technical terms, I can say that it is a software that is used to view the web pages on the internet. Now, how will you as a user access the internet? For accessing the internet, you require a software. That software is known as web browser. So, how the pages are delivered, that we will see now. When a user requests a web page from a particular website, the web browser receives the necessary content from a web server and then displays the page on the user's device via web browser. Now let's say you want a web page www.google.com. Now you will type it in the web browser, because web browser is the software that is used to view the web pages, and after typing it on the web browser will send a request to that particular web server. The web server will process it, and after processing it will deliver the requested web page if it is available on the web browser. And if it is not available, or if there is issue with your internet connection, browser will show you some kind of error message. So some examples of web browser are Google Chrome, Safari, Firefox, Tor, etc. All these softwares are used to view the web pages on the internet. Let's go to the next topic, which is web server. Now, if you make a website and if you want the entire world to access it, then after making it, you have to upload it on a web server. Now, what is it? It is a www server that responds to the request made by the web browser. Whenever we make a request, or in simple words, if I say that whenever we try to access a particular website, actually what we are doing, we are making a request to the web server, and web server will respond to the request made by the web browser. The main job of web server is to display website content through storing, processing and delivering web pages to users. So the main work of web server is to store the web pages, process the web page and deliver the web pages to the users when the user requests for those web pages. Web servers are used in web hosting or the hosting of data for websites and web-based applications. Web server hosts the websites. Host means web servers keeps the website. We'll come to web hosting also after a few minutes. So how does the web server actually works? Let's see. So how to access the internet, how to access the web pages? We have to access it via a web browser, and we have web server which delivers the web pages. Now let's say I want to access the website of Apple, so I'll write www.apple.com in the web browser. As I press the enter key, a request is made. That request is known as HTTP request. The request is made to the web server. The web server will search for the requested page, and if it finds it, it gives a response from the web server, and the response is what? The response is your requested web page. So you typed apple.com on the web browser, the request went to the web server found it on its server, and so it is giving you the response. In response, it is returning the content of the web page apple.com here. This is how a web server works. Next is web hosting. Now, when you make up your mind that you are finally going to host the website that you have made on your computer. Now, how to host it, how to make it available to the world. For making it available to the world, you have to buy some kind of space. Like if you want to build a house, what do you have to buy? You have to buy a piece of land. Similarly, if you have to put your web pages or put your website on the internet, you have to buy some kind of space. That's the digital space. Now, who will give you these things? These will be given by some web hosting service providers. So what is web hosting? Technically, it is a type of internet hosting services service that hosts websites for clients. So if you are the client, if you are the owner of a particular website, you will have to buy the web hosting service, and it will give you some kind of space depending upon your depending upon the size of the website, and then you can load your website into that space. So the computer system providing the web hosting is known as web server or web host. Now where you will your document, or you will make it via HTML or some other web programming languages. After that you will upload it to the web server. Who has the space of web server? Web hosting service providers have the space of the web server. You will buy some space from the web hosting providers, and you will upload your website into those hosts. Okay, the web host allows their customers to place web documents such as HTML pages, graphics and other multimedia files, etc. onto a special type of computer called web server. Now what is the main role of web host? It will allow you to upload your HTML pages, your photos, videos, everything on the web server. Now who will provide you this web hosting service? These are provided by some companies, for example GoDaddy, Hostinger and Bluehost. Many other web hosting service providers are there whose service you can take. Okay, so that's all for the day. I hope the session was useful. Thank you very much.